This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. Today, a group of very special guests. Three guys that have been like little brothers to myself and Nikki T within Raise Rowdy. We got our man Eamon Owen, we got Sweeny, and we got Stanton Langley. Together, they make up one of our favorite trios in town, Highway Home. Boys, how we doing on a Tuesday morning?
Can't complain.
Good, dude.
Surviving.
You boys were on the road this weekend, South Dakota?
Absolutely.
We burn it down, man. Now we're feeling it. I think we're all feeling the smoke pretty heavy.
Now it's burning us down.
Yeah. How was it?
Dude, it was so much fun. I mean, we had the chance to go to a pig wrestle, and we sadly didn't do it.
We got talked out of it last second. We were going to.
We did.
For the record.
What was the event?
So it's called the Ree Heights Roundup. And Ree Heights is a town in South Dakota of 110 people, I think, is the population on the sign. And the Roundup, we were like, yeah, it's going to be a whole rodeo. No, it's just one event. One event. And the event is pig wrestling. And so
Hell yeah.
Teams of three, you start with your hand on the fence, and the pig comes out, and they've got this, basically this corral. It's so muddied up, and they say, ready, set, go. And it's about 120, 140 pound. They said they were supposed to be 140, 50. Not all of them were. They were not huge, but teams of three, and everybody's dressed up in like uniforms, just goofy as it can be, and they got to pick up the pig and put it in a water trough, and then put their hands in the air, and it's all timed. And so the first couple were like what?
Like 40 seconds, a minute.
40 seconds to a minute. Then all of a sudden,
It was actually like a group of like teenage girls that did the best for like a long time,
Yeah,
dude. There was
they were
like all
like
these big
28
dudes, and they were
seconds.
like taking a minute to get it in there. And then these three girls come in there, and it was like 19 seconds, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this just got real. And then it picked
pigs are
up.
quick.
Yeah.
And so you got to be nimble through the mud, which sucks. But I think the winner ended up being at like 11 seconds.
Wow.
But we were signed up. Like the night
Yeah.
before, we were
ready.
We were drinking and we were fired.
Yeah, we had a few
about
cocktails,
to
and we
say,
were
yeah.
like, we're gonna do this.
doing it.
Drunk thoughts had us like super confident. I'm sitting there, just like, all right, I'm gonna be the one to spear it, and then y'all just like jump on the legs, and we're gonna make this thing happen.
And then so we're at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're like, all right, y'all ready to do this? Like we're gonna go for it. And then the guy that brought us out there, he came over and he was like, guys, y'all really shouldn't do that. And we were like, oh, come on, man. And he was like, look, you got to think about it. There's gonna be an ambulance there. People get hurt all the time. And we were like, oh, we are here for a reason. So if we can't play because somebody breaks a hand or Eamon takes a throat kick, that was the joke. It was like, of all people, it would be like me and Connor both are going to get our wrist broken, can't play guitar, and Eamon's just going to get kicked in the throat. And then we're just totally out of commission.
Damn, that would have been legendary. Was anybody else playing there, or what was the gig set? Were you guys opening, headlining, or what?
We were headlining.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a young opener.
Fuck yeah.
Leighton Lee.
Leighton Lee. He was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so we played. And like I said, it was a town of like 100, and I bet our crowd was, like 200 or 300, which is awesome.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
from all the surrounding crowds came out, and at one point they were like, "Hey, y'all want to get down? We're doing a little fireworks show, and y'all want to take a break while we shoot off some fireworks?" And I think we had drank enough. We were like, "No, this is gonna be so sick."
It'd be like Sandlot.
And
Yeah.
so we kick courtesy of the red, white, and blue, and there's fireworks going behind us.
I mean,
and
like
we're
right,
just-
right behind the stage. It was actually super sick.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
I guarantee it was so much cooler in our heads. Like I'm sure it was so like they
Oh,
could hear
you
bits
couldn't
and
even hear
pieces
us.
of the song, but for us, like we could hear the song really well and see the fireworks like behind us, and we were, that was it. Like
That's
that was
awesome.
incredible.
It was really cool though, because there was people in the crowd that were coming up to us before we played that were like, we drove from like Rapid City, which is like 4 hours away, just to see you guys, which was really cool. So that made us feel pretty good just to know there was people coming to see us out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So you guys have been a trio for how long now?
Around 8-9 months, I would say.
8-9 months.
Yeah.
And you guys are all born in the South from three of my favorite like country music hotbeds. We got
Oh, yeah.
Alabama, we got South Kakalaki, and we got the great state of Georgia.
Georgia.
You guys born in the South but built in Nashville. So what kind of went in? You guys have all been here for a little while now and been doing your thing as writers, players, artists. What led to creating a trio with all three of you guys who happen to be great friends before all this. Too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's I always tell everybody it started at Live Oak, and because I mean that before Live Oak moved. Between y'all and everybody else, like those rounds were like the pinnacle. Like when we moved here, it was like if we're playing a Raised Rowdy round or we're playing, what was the other, Magic Monday?
Yeah, with Tracy.
Yeah, shout out Tracy.
Yeah, I did. And like, so through those, that's where I didn't know anybody when I moved here. And I knew about Live Oak and the rounds. And I went there and just started shaking hands. And I met him super early on, like probably first week. And I met you a little bit down the line, probably like 6 months.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, like through that, we got to be like super good buddies. Started writing a bunch. Of course, like we were all doing solo stuff, but I think pretty quick, I know me and you figured out that we love singing harmonies.
We're also on a podcast, so if people aren't watching it and they're just listening, you doesn't.
Oh, sorry guys. Me and Connor. Yeah, so me and Connor figured out that we both love singing harmonies. So whenever we were doing rounds, if there was a chance for us to be on the same one, we would.
Yeah.
So we could sing harms on both each other's songs.
We'd send each other the new song that we were playing. We'd study, you
Yeah.
know, and it was always
And
the
then
goal.
it was the same thing with you. I think the first time that I with Stanton it was whenever you were with Graham opening up for Austin Snell at what was that place?
At the end.
The End.
Oh,
And
the end, bro.
It's the end of the world, is what that is.
What a spot.
And so we're sitting there. We all get there early, and Graham goes on, and Stanton's over there just singing perfect harmonies, and it sounded so good. So fast forward, Connor has a trio shift at Valentine on Broadway with Mac Eason and Hunter Holland, and Hunter ended up moving back to South Carolina. Is that right?
Yep.
To become a pilot, and Mac, I believe, got on with Logan Crosby as a bass player, and so they both kind of had their own things. And he called me, and he was like, "Man, would you could you come, just do this shift with me? Like, I know you love singing harms, love to have you there." And we needed a third, and I was like, "Dude, we have to call Stanton. Like, just trust me. Let's get him there. Like, it's going to be great." And so we did the first shift. And again, this is like just fun. We still have solo careers. Like,
It's kids making money in
Yeah,
town, playing
yeah.
downtown, which is a great way to make money when you first get
yeah.
here.
Yeah, this
Not-
was a means to pay the rent.
I don't think I think in the back of our mind, everybody was like, I've always been like I love singing harmony so much that I could do that as I would love that as much as singing lead. So I'm like, if this it was definitely something that was in the back of my mind, but not something that we all thought like since we get together this is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
But we played that first show. And after, we probably had 20 people come up and we're like, "Hey, what's your name? Where's your music?" We're like, no.
We're all individually standing there being like, "You should check out my
no,
music."
look
Check
me
out
up.
his."
But yeah, so we kept doing that, and I think that kind of sparked the first idea. And the more shows that we played, we kept on getting the same response. And then, one day we just kind of texted in our little group chat and we're like, "Hey, like, what do y'all think?"
Well, I think it was after we wrote "Broken His Mind" was really when it was like, because we did this show and maybe we did a couple of them, and after we did that and all those people were coming up to us, in my head I was sort of like, all right, I'm gonna see if like I can bring this up. Maybe we should be in a band, because I always grew up in bands. That's my favorite way to. It's like being on a team. I mean, it was always what I preferred. And so after that, we wrote "Broken His Mind" with Walker Wilson, and when we made the demo, it just naturally came out sounding like a band song. It was just tons of harmonies on it, and it was just kind of all centered around that. And so we started showing it to all our other buddies, and they were all like, "Dude, y'all are a band." And we were still kind of like, "Oh no, I don't know, man. I think like this is a pitch, or maybe Eamon will cut it or something." And then I think eventually enough of our homies were like, "Dude, y'all should do this," to where we were like, "Let's just make a TikTok and post a couple videos." So we went to his house, literally just stood in his living room.
Yeah.
Took a few videos of us playing other people's songs, and like the first one, it was just like 10,000 views, and then they were all getting like 10,000 views or something, and a bunch of comments, and then we were like, okay, this is something we should lean into. So we just started writing songs for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it spawned from.
I agree, and just to add to it, it was like, I think just hearing the way that y'all talked about it, we both like got together and had in the back of our minds, because I was the same kind of story as Eamon. Like, all my favorite bands are groups, and there's something so special about this group country music. it's so interesting, and you can see it kind of making a little bit of a comeback with so many new groups and stuff like that. But we were like, dude, we should do this, but none of us would say it. I think we were all just a little bit scared to like not offend anybody. Yeah. But we were all obviously here to start solo careers. Yeah. And so you don't want to be like, hey, quit your solo career. But when it finally came out and we were all on the same page without even saying anything, then it was just off to the races. Yeah. Yeah. It was cool. And then we ended up writing a song called Highway Home. And we were like, that wouldn't be a terrible name. It's not like the name has to mean all that crazy stuff. And there's a lot of ways to make a name really cringy. So, like, why not just go with something that just kind of. And I
feel like Highway Home is you guys all took a highway to get here, whether it was coming up from Georgia, coming out from Carolina, coming up I-65 from Bama. Like, being out on the road with your buddies, like, you're all taking the highway home. And home could be that gig. Home could be back here in Nashville. Like, it's a cool name. I dig it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I always say that there's also, this one doesn't necessarily lead to Nashville per se, but, I-20 connects all three of our states. Yeah. And it ends in South Carolina. So it's like, that is kind of the highway home for all three of us that we've all taken to each other's, home states.
That is cool, dude. That is cool. And you guys, like I said, come from three of my favorite spots of. You guys all worked hard in your local scenes, whether, like back Georgia, Alabama, which obviously I'm very connected to, Trey and Muscadine. And then the Carolinas too, man, like with all the great venues and all the great clubs where you guys all had experience playing shows before you moved here, which I think is so key. You guys all kind of started in the same place where it's like you had gotten your reps, but now working together on it's not like you're three guys that had never played a show before or never written a song. Like having that background of experience, I'm sure has helped too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I think it's helped us a ton. Just because, like, I mean, dude, there's so many people that like always talk to me like, oh, I don't have much show experience, and that was like the one thing when I moved to Nashville that like got me in with Graham. It kind of got me everywhere that I've been so far. It all kind of spawned from like someone telling me, dude, you've got show experience. Like, do you want to play with me? Because you have more than I do. And so, like, if you'll help me with that, I'll help you any way I could, kind of thing. And so that kind of has gotten me everywhere. And for the three of us all having that tons of experience, it just made it from the jump just be easy to get up and play. Like, even the first time we played Broadway, it was just like, we didn't practice. We just all knew most of the same songs. So it was just like, okay, he's got a high voice. This song, if I'm singing the lead, he's going to sing the high harmony. It was like we didn't even have to say anything. We just would start singing, and it would just kind of fall right into place because of the experience that we had. So that's been kind of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say that if we didn't come into this band with already like our 10,000 hours of performing time, then we had taken a good chunk of it, taking care of a good chunk of it. I mean, we're getting close to being masters of live performing. I mean, we love it. And so, yeah, I mean, I've spent so much time in dark bars in Clemson just playing shows, and I love it, man. I still love it. I kind of want to, want us to go do that sometime.
I mean, dude, and that's the thing too. You guys are all like-minded in that you're all in on this thing. There's not a plan B. Like, it's music. We're going to make this thing work. We're going to get out there and play some shows. We're going to write songs, whether it's playing shows here in town. Like, I know the basement's been a great spot for you guys where you've gotten to pop up and do the thing. Talk about South Dakota, but going back to all, you each bring like a different market to the table, which is huge too. You can go back to Carolina, go back to Bama, go back to Georgia, and there's clubs for days. Like, come college football season and school being back in session in the fall, I think you guys, if you wanted to, keep your weekends fucking full.
We've already kind of started doing that. I mean, we've got a plan to kind of do a hometowns thing before the summer's over. So I mean, we're definitely going to start doing that. But yeah, I mean, with us all having made the rounds at all those clubs that you're talking about, like Rib Zydeco, that was a great one, dude.
Oh, dude,
I've played there literally dozens of times. I mean, I cut my teeth there in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's like all you guys have like legendary clubs that, like, you talk about Zydeco, you talk about the Blind Horse, you talk about the Crazy Bowl, like you guys all have been in areas where the live music is such a big thing. So you come up like growing up as music fans, what was it like growing up in those places? Like, you guys had the opportunity to go to concerts that not a lot of people did. Like, I would have to drive hours to go see a country show growing up in New York.
That's crazy.
Whereas
man.
you guys kind of had it in your backyard.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember your first time going to the Blind Horse, going to Crazy Bowl or Statesboro, or going to Zydeco and seeing a show?
yeah.
Do you remember your first show? I'll start with you, Eamon.
I'll be honest. I feel like I'm a little different because I did not grow up wanting anything to do with music. I really didn't, and it's weird because my dad is Eddie from Eddie's Attic, so I grew up in Eddie's Attic.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so I was around everything, and I did love it. You know, I mean, he always had Rascal Flatts on the radio, and like country was my jam. Like, but I didn't want to sing in front of anybody. I didn't have any want to get in the music industry. And
When did the switch flip?
after college. And so I played golf through college. That was the dream. I learned really quick that I'm not good enough to do that. So once I got done, I moved to a private course back in Georgia called Cuskawilla. And I moved there because my dad had connections, and I knew that there was a bunch of people that I could just shake hands with and figure out what I'm going to do for a career. So I did that, and I was lined up to go into medical sales. And as this was happening, I met Logan Millwood. He was working out there as a
It all
carpenter.
goes back to Millwood.
Dude, so
Shout out
it's
Logan
crazy.
Millwood, you crazy bastard.
Crazy, right? So I moved there to be the I guess glorified card attendant. I made the schedule,
Hell yeah.
hired, fired. It was fun. But Logan was already working there, and so there was a YouTube video of me and my brother singing, and he found it and was like, "Dude, like I can't sing a lick, but I play guitar. I don't play guitar, but I can sing." He was like, "Let's just get together and jam." So this is right as like I'm, like talking to the guy, like figuring out places in Atlanta I can move and like getting all this done, and we start kind of just jamming, writing songs, and we start playing a couple shows, and I just got hooked. And I literally, like a week before I was supposed to move, I called him. I was like, "Hey, this is probably really dumb, but like I want to chase this music thing." And so I told him, like, "Sorry, like I'm not gonna take that job." We started up a duo called Cherokee 20, and started playing shows here and there. Put out a couple songs, and sadly that kind of like went away. But after about a year, I was like, I'm just gonna move to Nashville. Like I don't know anybody, don't know what to do, and yeah, just moved to Nashville with the like I want to go do this. I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. What about you, Connor? Because you guys all kind of moved around the same time too. Because that was 2020, right, or 2021?
I think 21.
Yeah, and
21.
then you were probably around there too, right?
I was, yeah. So are we ditching the first like the local concerts?
No,
We're
no,
starting
Local
to go back to
concerts?
that?
No, talk about that too.
Talk
Like,
about
what
that
got
too?
you into
Okay,
this,
yeah,
man?
all right.
Because I'm sure grew up going to some shows.
No, I did,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
And rest in peace, Blind Horse. I mean, holy cow!
What a spot.
It was unbelievable. Got the pleasure of opening for Mr. Cameron Marlowe there and doing some of that stuff. But I mean, Blind Horse, dude, we used to, as soon as I could get in the doors, I never had a fake ID or anything like that. So literally, like right when I turned 18, and then sometimes they would not enforce the 18. Sometimes they would be like, it would be a Tuesday or Wednesday night, but it was always Riley Green. Riley ran that circuit, and Corey Smith. They both ran that circuit so hard. Riley and Corey Smith did. And I mean, $10 tickets. I found, I ended up becoming the biggest Trey Landon fan because
Hell
Trey would
yeah.
always open those Riley shows.
Yeah.
And I knew every word to every song that both of them had out, which was like, 2 EPs each, I think,
Yeah.
and it was like, shout out Ryan Nelson, When She Comes Home Tonight was that, that first like kind of big one that made Riley, that made the tickets, $18 instead of 10, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, dang it, but, sneaking in with mini bottles in our cowboy boots and, just having a big time. It was always awesome. I mean, seriously, we were like front row most of the time.
Front row or don't go, baby.
That was it. Yeah. 2019, we like drove down to Columbia, which was, an hour and a half south. And my buddy was like, "Yeah, you heard that Up Down song?" And I was like, "Yeah, I heard that Up Down song." He was like, we got to go see this guy. And so we go, and we're in the Senate, which used to be, back then it was a music farm in
Yeah.
Columbia.
Love the Senate, by the way. That's another great venue.
Killer venue. And it was, this girl comes out, and she's playing solo acoustic as like first of three. and didn't know any of the songs. There was people like fighting in the crowd during her set, and so it was kind of distracting. But her name is Lainey Wilson, and that was like, this was like a $14 ticket.
Yeah.
And then the first opener comes out, and I'd also never heard of this guy, but there was a guy named Rhett who was playing guitar for him, who was from Pendleton, South Carolina, who I had just met like once or twice. And I didn't even know he was playing for this guy. I didn't even know he played guitar, but I see Red on stage. I was like, that was cool. This is cool. And so that was the Hardy set, and it was awesome. And he, what the 4x4 is for. And I was like, dang, I like that. Added it to my playlist.
That old school EP, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude.
And then Morgan played, Morgan Wallen come out, and he had his mullet and his cutoff shirt. And I don't know. There's just all of those stories of just going to shows that really made me think, like, and then just later watching what I saw then playing these little clubs that weren't even sold out, like it was just insane. Like that tour was awesome to see, and then to see Riley play in arenas now is crazy to me because I think I've seen Riley like 12 times.
All four of those names you just mentioned are all festival headliners.
Oh, yeah.
Superstars.
Just dominating.
Which is crazy
It's
because
insane.
I remember going to the clubs in Jersey and in New York and seeing that. I remember seeing Wallen at Short Hair Wallen opening for when he was on the FGL tour doing a radio show at Jenks Club where they used to film the Jersey Shore. And they would do country nights on Wednesdays, and Wallen's wearing the FGL baseball jersey and a flat bill hat. Like. It's crazy, like thinking back to those like right before COVID times of where all those artists are now.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome, man.
crazy.
That's again the beauty of places like South Carolina is you guys got so many venues. Like Wendell's and Anderson's another one. God bless
so
Wendell's.
good.
I've had some
Seriously.
wild nights in all of them, and it's cool you bring up the Blind Horse. My first time going there was 2019 with Muscadine, and it was just that room was just. It was electric, I miss the Blind Horse, man. I think it's something else now, and it's no longer there. But what about you, Stanton? Growing up in Alabama, to me, one of the most underrated music states on the planet.
Seriously, man. Like, I mean, especially for Birmingham, which is where I grew up. Like, there's a really good hidden music scene, which is where I obviously came up cutting my teeth in those clubs. But my first concert was actually in Greenville, which I've never thought about until right now.
You never
Yeah.
told me that.
Yeah, it was Keith Urban at the arena. My dad took me when I was like 5 years old, and it totally just changed my entire trajectory in life.
The Milo
It's
Center,
like
yeah.
one moment, it was there.
That's awesome.
But my second concert, which was in Birmingham, it was Rascal Flatts and Sarah Evans at the arena.
Come on.
Which we went to because we loved Rascal Flatts as a family, but also Sarah Evans lived in Birmingham at that time. So I was friends with her kids from the time I was like 8 years old. Like literally the first musical thing I ever did, my dad had bought a little recording rig, and Avery Evans, her son, came over because he played drums and I played guitar. And so he came over and we like recorded a cover song, and it was just us two, and then like my dad recorded the bass and I did the guitar and I sang it and Avery played drums, and it was cool, and we were just friends, and we ended up going on to have a little rock band for a while in middle school. But yeah, I went to go see Rascal Flatts at the arena in Birmingham, and it was cool because it was like Sarah Evans, a superstar who also lives 5 minutes away from me, if even, was, opening up, and they brought her back out to do a duet and stuff. And like, as a 12-year-old kid, you're just like, holy smokes, this is like some of the biggest artists on the radio right now in my hometown. One of them lives here. I have to do this. Like, this is the only thing I ever want to do in life. So from that kind of moment on, me and Avery, we started our band. And we just started playing at all these places, and it's like any place we could go, as I'm sure y'all did too. Like any place that people would let you come play music, we would just go do it for free. We'd probably paid to play at some places.
There's a lot to do in Alabama, too, between all the damn barbecue joints, the Mexican restaurant tour. Shout out to Pablo's.
Dude, Pablo's?
Bro, I worked with Muscadine and Trey. They played Pablo's once upon a time.
Pablo's is a classic.
Acoustic duo. The acoustic duo circuit in Alabama runs through. Some places it's coffee shops. In Alabama, it's Moe's Barbecue and it's Pablo's Mexican restaurant.
Old Moe's. I played at Moe's a bunch, dude, down there in Lakeview.
Yeah, Innisfree and Innisfree's a big one too. But when did you move up here?
I moved up in January of 22, so probably a few months after they did. But I can't remember exactly when we met. But I mean, I did the same thing. It was like as soon as I got here, I had my couple of friends that already lived here that I had been staying with for a while, and I just started going out to Midtown bars and just like. it's so crazy thinking about it now, because when you look back, like I used to be I would have to like work myself up to be like, all right, tonight I'm going out and like I am going with a purpose to like go make friends and like start doing this thing. So it was like putting on your sort of like internal business suit to go out and just shake as many hands as humanly possible, which is how I met literally everybody I know now. But yeah, it was January 22, and I just got here and was like, I was coming out of a band. I'd been in rock bands my whole life, and it was like I'd been writing country songs for rock bands, and I was like the only one kind of in those bands that wanted to do country stuff. And it was always sort of this battle of like, well, this song's too country, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. It's just who I am. And so I came here knowing that like whoever I find to collaborate with, which, you know, just kind of happened naturally at the end of the day, like I want it to be stuff that just feels, you know, right, with people that just feel like natural collaborators. And I found them right here.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude.
I'm trying to think back to the first time I met you. I think, did
I
you play with
remember it.
Colin Nash?
Dude, is that when it was?
I think it would have been. We had Colin Nash full band
Yes.
on an In the Round back in the
Yes.
day,
Yeah.
and it was
Dude.
like Colin's like EP or
Yeah.
single or something came out, and I was like, "Who's this little guy ripping on guitar with Colin?" I'm like, "Colin can play, and this guy can play just as good as Colin," and they're
Dude.
just shredding back and forth.
You know, it's so funny as I remember that now, and I was still like in my rock and roll days, which I always will be. But like, dude, I was up there on the Live Oak stage, and there's like 40 people in the crowd, and I've got like my shirt fully unbuttoned.
Oh, dude, yeah. I was like, "Who's this kid?"
I was like, I got chest hair. I'm gonna like show it off, you know. And I'm up there to like 40 people, like no shirt on.
That was awesome. Cause yeah, it's like your guys, like we always talk about like classes and like people that move here around the same time. Like for me, it's like, it's Trey, it's Ella, it's Dylan Marlowe. It's people like that I got here around the same time as in like 2018, 2019. And it's like you guys in that right after COVID,
Yeah, we
start coming up during COVID and then move here right after, like as things are starting to get back to normal. And your guys' whole class is one of my absolute
Dude,
favorites.
we got lucky.
We got real lucky,
Yeah,
dude.
The talent around us
yeah.
is nuts.
Our circle that I feel like it was immediate, because I remember the first two people I met, and it's actually a funny story. So, like I said, I mean, I wasn't as intertwined in the music industry as I probably should have been, and so I think, what was it? It was what's one of the Why Not
Wednesday,
Why
yeah.
Not was at Live Oak, and it was my first time going to Live Oak, and I remember I went stage, I went to the left of the stage, and didn't know anybody, but Paxton P and Walker Wilson were standing right there. So I was, you know, whenever I introduced myself, and this guy with a piano started playing Sand in My Boots. And I remember looking at Paxton, I was like, yo, like, they do covers here? And he goes, that's fucking Ashley Gorley. Yeah, I know who that is. I was like, no.
That's wild, dude.
He can't play a cover because he's written every single
Written
song.
all of them.
If you asked him to do a cover set, he would just be like, I can't.
But
That's
yeah, dude,
awesome.
yeah, it was like, I mean, it was just the same thing. And I think I kind of use it as an excuse just to go out and have fun as well. But I shook hands every night. And, you know, it's the beauty about Nashville is that everybody wants you to win, you know? And so it's like, there's no like stuck up about it. And so it's like I'd meet, you know, Paxton Walker, and immediately I'm in a group chat with like them and 4 other guys that I go and meet. They introduce me to 4 other guys, you know, and then I'm getting brought into rights, and it's just like just keeps like going, you know?
Yeah,
And
I remember when you were living with when it was like Chandler
and Logan.
and Logan
Yeah.
and big sexy Cody Loden,
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
like
Yeah.
and then of course Sam Johnson, you
Yeah.
know, like our homie, which is one of the things that I love. I mean, Trash Out the Trailer's been one that I've loved for a long time since you first started playing it out, Connor. But for that song to be like, to me, it's so cool to see Sam's name in the byline on the credits of that song, that his legacy lives on through the whole crew, honestly. Like everybody in that, and your guys' crew, everybody's getting ready to release more songs. Sam's name's going to be on there forever, and going to be continuing to come out. How important was he as a homie for you guys? Like,
He was like, so I mean, I think you remember the Boulder Park nights when we were renting that house that Jake, myself, Eli, Nick, Kane, and Josh were living in, and Cameron Marlowe and Josh Ross and some other guys had lived in that house and just like were moving out, and we're like, y'all can have the house. And the rent will stay the same if we grandfather it. So it was $400 a man. It was awesome.
That's the best.
And it was the best. But it was just also a meeting place. Everyone would be there. And Sam and Christian Yancey and Kenny, fresh to town Kenny Whitmire, were renting a house like 6 houses down. And so everyone would just descend on our house, and we'd have the poker nights, and we'd have crazy time nights, and we'd spin the wheel. And it was just, I mean, that was where Chandler got the TikTok message from Ern. And that was where, you know, that house just had so much to it. But Sam, there's so many pictures from like those nights, because Brennan always had a camera too. So Brennan's taking photos, and everything's so well documented, you know, and it's just amazing. You can make a documentary on our crew, you know, at some point. There's so much footage, so much photos from all these different events and walks of life that we've been through together. But Sam was just cornerstone, dude. Like the big man, the dad of the group.
Yeah.
You know, when we moved
big
to
brother.
town, yeah, exactly. I mean, he was just always out, always wearing that dang Hawaiian shirt and doing whatever. But he was also, when we all moved to town, he was easily the best songwriter in the group.
Yeah.
He just knew what he was doing. He knew his way around it. He was very organized with his songs, had all of his demos, all of his lyrics like cataloged perfectly, and was excited and happy to like teach us how to do that. Because you moved to be a songwriter, and that's, you know, like, yeah, I can come up with, I know that girl rhymes with world, you know, I can write, you know.
Yeah, and then you meet some publisher at Live Oak, and they're like, send me your Schedule A, and you're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Sam was like, we always called him like a shaman.
Yeah.
And that may have been slightly other stuff related too.
He was
but,
just the Buddha, man. He was the
dude.
vibe
He
every
was
night.
the vibe.
Well,
And he would come out and watch everybody play. Like, he didn't have, some people you only see them when you have them playing your rounds or playing your events, but he was out all the time supporting anybody in the crew. Anybody that, even someone that was a degree or two of separation from him, he'd come out and watch.
Yeah.
You know, he was just the best.
Well, I mean, and he was the first person where, like, so going to the rounds and being there and hearing the song, you know, like you hear songs where you're like, that's really good.
Yeah.
And it was like more times than not, it was like, hey, I wrote this with this guy, and Sam Johnson. Like, I wrote this with this guy, and Sam Johnson. It was all the ones that I loved. Yeah. And so at that point, like, I'm a little bit newer to meeting these guys. So he was already writing with Connor and Christian, and these guys I'm hanging out with, and I'm like, dang, like I feel like I can't ask him. I gotta wait. You know, I gotta wait until I'm playing and he hears a song that he likes, and he's gonna come up and ask me to write. And when he did, it was a holy shit moment. I was like, yes.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then McCoy Moore's on that song too,
Yeah.
which isn't it? It's so cool seeing all you guys, like your whole collective unit, is winning.
Yeah.
Whether it's the guys that are writing, it's the folks that are jumping into the artist thing. And McCoy's been a hell of a writer for years, but to see what he's doing right now is fucking awesome
I
too.
know, dude.
And it's like you guys have found your path and are doing your thing right now, and it's so cool to see. Like, so when did you write that song? How far back was that?
Gosh, I wonder if I could find the original document, but dude, it had to have been at least more than 2 years ago. I mean, it could have been 2.5 years ago. It was when we were writing pretty not good songs, honestly. And then,
Except for that day.
but that song just decided to live on. I mean, we wrote another song the day before, and you know, none of us were that busy because we were fresh to town. But we had wrote another song that we were like, yeah, this is good. And then McCoy was like, man, I'd had this hook, you know, and he brought the hook, and he was like something about, she took the trash out of the trailer, but I'm still here. And we were like, oh, you know, we just got so excited about it. We're like, what are you doing tomorrow? And so we circled right back up the next day and wrote that one. And I had, you know, lived in Montana in a trailer and all this stuff. And I was like, I've got all these ideas. Like, we had a little Walmart pool in the front. Like, we got to write that down. And so the whole night, I barely slept the night before. It was like Christmas. I couldn't wait to write the song, writing down funny ideas and that kind of stuff. And man, we crushed that right and had so much fun. And yeah, I mean, that was, I've written some really good songs with you know, McCoy, and I say I have because there's a common denominator that all the songs are good, and I think it's because McCoy's on them. So I mean,
Yeah, what's it like, the creative process now with you guys being a trio, being a whole unit of of three heads are better than one, you know, but like you guys writing songs together, but also you guys, I'm sure, still write with other people individually or bring in a homie or two to write with all three of you guys. So what's that process like now of you guys doing this less than a year?
I mean, honestly, not. It doesn't feel crazy different. The beauty about it, and I tell everybody, is that like if we weren't doing this trio and I wanted to get a good song, you know, if I had a good idea that I was like, I got to think of people, who could I go to make this good song? Like these two guys would probably be my first two calls. Like we just got good songs together. So the beauty of it is that like us three together write really good songs, but at the best song wins. You know, it's not like none of us have our chest out. It's like all of us need to be on this song. It's like, you know, that we've all been fans of each other's songs, you know, since we were just doing
before
solos.
this. Yeah. And we don't hesitate at all because of the best song wins. Like we don't hesitate to be like, I have this song, but it sounds like you.
Yeah.
Sing it. And if you like it, like I want you to sing it. And that's going to be the best way to bring it to life. Because, you know, we're all writing so many songs and we have such a stockpile of them from the years we've been here that
it's like the catalog's got to be massive between the three of you.
I mean,
guys.
it's helped us a lot just having that as backlog and then also being able to be like, okay, well, let's just write like at least once a week together as a trio, maybe have another guy come in. And then we just have all these options to be like, oh, dude, I've been listening to this demo of this song that me and so wrote. This sounds like Eamon, dude. Check it out. And we end up cutting it. And we've all done that for each other literally so far. Yeah. And then we can just add our three, you know, minds together writing songs on top of that. And we just have a bunch of good ones right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then talk about kind of the style of Highway Home, because I feel like it varies between a few different things. Like you have that traditional thing in there. You have like sometimes the bluegrass picking. You have like the harmonies of like you guys all grew up listening to people like Rascal Flatts, so it throws back to like that 2000s. But there's the modern elements too. Like talk about kind of just the sonic sound of if someone asks, "What does your band sound like?" What do you tell them?
Ooh, it'd be a long term.
It would be, yeah, it would. I mean, so much of it is like just harmony driven is number one, right? And then but that's obviously just the vocals. When it comes to the track and the music, it's somewhere in this like sonic mix of. It depends on who's singing it, because you know we really try and hammer down something with like when Eamon's singing, we want it to sound really Rascal Flattsy or Lone Star-ish, right? And then when Stanton gets to singing, it's got that touch of a little bit more of a modern thing, like take, you know, maybe like a David Nail track from 2012 mixed with, you know, some classic, you know, Rascal Flatts like 2002, 2003. And then when I'm singing, I want it to have, you know, some of that Restless Heart or Ricochet or, you know, even Shenandoah kind of vibes to it. And so, but then all of those things can kind of come together and have the consistency of our freaking buddy, Ryan Gore, who's the man he's our producer. And he brings that consistency in the music where we're like trying to pull in different directions. Yeah. He is that stake in the ground that we're all tied to, so we can't get outside the circle of Highway Home. You know what I mean?
And dude, like, that's been so huge for us because like as a band where you're a collective unit and like we all need to stay on the same page, having someone like Ryan just turn around from his chair when we're all like, well, what if it does this? And for him to just be like, no, you should do this. And then we can all just be like, all right, cool. Yeah. We can rest now. You know, we don't have to fight about it.
Yeah, dude, I the beauty of it, and this is kind of how I see it, and it might be a long shot, but the way that I see it is that with us, we are three different sounds, but like he said, harmony driven, like it, all the songs, even though they are different, blend together so well. And it's kind of an opportunity to have our fans end up like having three different lanes that, you know, it's not one collective sound to where it's like, if you hear a Highway Home song, it's going to sound like this. It's like, no, like it might sound like this. It could sound like this, could sound like this, but it's like, it's so well put together because of Ryan, you know, that it kind of gives them the opportunity to where it's like, it's not just one lane. Like you kind of have, you know, you can be a fan of three different styles of music, which is cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And now what's it been like kind of seeing the response? You guys are working, you guys have a team
Yeah.
around you now, which that has to be
It's been
pretty
insane.
wild
It's
to have
been
that
insane.
less than a year into starting out too is pretty awesome. So talk about having some suits in your corner.
Yeah, it's we've talked about this a lot. It's like whenever we finally decided, like all of us had our, minds in the same thing. It's like, this is something cool. It was, I mean, my blood started boiling where it wasn't like, I think this can work. It's like, no, like this is really good.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and it was different because like, it's not, I think all of us had that, but instead of us just thinking it and believing in it, like Stanton was saying, like all of our buddies, people outside the circle were like, yo, like this is real. Like y'all need to push this. Y'all need to do it. And yeah, we had high hopes, but I don't think any of us were expecting anything. We were, and yeah, to now have a team, that came to us just because they had that same thing. It was like, y'all, like this is real, and like we want to be a part of it. This is like, doesn't matter any, like we believe in this, and like we want to do this. Is just, I don't know, something that I know I've always wanted to have, but I guess wasn't expecting it to happen that fast. But it's really cool.
Well, it was like dude, it really is a God thing, man. Like once we started doing this, like we had all been working so hard for a really long time individually, and at least for me, like I don't want to say it felt like I was getting nowhere with it, but it felt like very slow and like, I mean, it can be draining, especially being a solo artist when it's all on you, man. Like it's tough to stay consistent, and it's hard to stay motivated when like you work really hard on a song, because like I was producing my own songs just because I couldn't afford to go have them produced, and just like all that work that goes into it, and then paying a buddy to mix it, and then you trying to do all this promotion and keep writing new ones and asking your co-writers like, hey, can I cut this song, all the time, and just trying to stay consistent with it is just so exhausting. So once we started doing this, it just felt like a God thing, where it's like people just got in our corner, and we had each other and have each other to be like, well, he can take care of this today, I can take care of this today, and he can do this. So the machine can keep rolling, without having to have, if one guy's having a day where you're like, man, I've just got to take care of something at the house, or man, I'm just really down today, everybody is there for you to kind of be like, no, we're going to keep this going, man. I got you today. I'll do this, you do that kind of stuff. So it really just kind of felt like once we decided to do it, people just started rallying around us. Like, what you guys have is something special. So like, we want to help in any way we can.
Our first, sorry, this morning is killing me.
You're good, brother.
Our first like just true champion, who I truly believe, like, first of all, this is all gonna say something in a way. It's like Broadway is not the devil everyone says it is.
No.
yeah,
Broadway is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Go play it. Go get reps. For you young kids moving to town listening, do not make Broadway your entire career. When you're playing Broadway, you've not made it. Keep working. But there's no reason for you to not play music to pay your rent.
Yeah.
So that's a resource that's to you. I was playing at the 12:30 Club on a gig I wasn't even supposed to be on. I filled in for somebody. I was playing, and this guy in like a yellow windbreaker from the 80s who looked like a wizard with long hair and a beard walked up and put $20 in my tip bucket and a business card. And it said Ryan Gore, producer, mixing engineer. And then he messaged me on Instagram because I didn't call him. and he was like, hey, I'm Ryan. Your voice is good. I like the songs you were playing. You seem to have something different. You want to go to Waffle House? And I was like, yeah, we'll go to Waffle House. And that was early into Nashville for me. And so then I started recording with Ryan. I mean, and he's mixed everything. He was co-producer with Bart Butler on all of the John Party stuff, and just has done all this incredible work and is so talented. And we were recording great songs, but he was like our first big champion. When we started this, we went to Ladybird Taco, and we were like sitting there talking, and I was like, hey, I just wanted to run this by you. I know we've recorded like 10 songs, like just of my solo stuff. I think I want to quit that. I think I want to be done with that. I think that this Highway Home thing that we're talking about is is what I want to do. And he was just right with me. He was like, oh yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, let's get all the guys together. I want to meet them. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let me record it. Let's do it. And he was like our first champion. He introduced us to Charlie and _ team. And they, you know, have introduced us to a million people, but it all comes back to Ryan. And he has been like, when I talk about it, a godsend, like there's no way that I would be where I am in this town without Ryan Gore.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
Yeah,
so-
and it goes back to Broadway.
and it comes back to Broadway. Isn't that funny? Well, it all does. Our first gig
Yeah.
that even made us want to do this was at the Daggum Valentine, which
true.
I've spent too many hours in. But yeah, Broadway's a good thing, man. And there was always a part of me that was a little bit embarrassed that that was how I was like making money, because I mean, for a while there, me and the boys were driving back to Clemson what felt like every weekend to play, because we had to pay the rent and we wanted to make money. And in our mind, that was like a good part of our career.
And you were making good money too.
We were making good money. Yeah, we were having fun.
That frat circuit plays really well.
Yeah.
AGR and those frats
yeah.
out there in Clemson paid
And it was
very well.
fun.
Yeah,
It was a good time. They always took care of us. We bought a freaking Sprinter. Like, we were kind of balling, honestly. We were,
I remember the bus.
You remember the Redneck
Dude, when I first
Express?
met you, I remember thinking like, dude, this guy's got it going on.
dude.
Like he's rolling in the dough.
What that reminds me of is back in the day, and they weren't rolling around in the Sprinter van early on, but Gary and Charlie with Muscadine,
Yeah.
they were riding around in Charlie's Avalanche. He had a Chevy Avalanche, and it was the two of them, and they put up a flyer looking like they were on the road every weekend, but they were playing Moe's Barbecue. And they were just going up and down I-65. So they'd be in Nashville and they'd write, and then they'd say they were going on the road every weekend. But it was covered gigs, acoustic duo up and down I-65 and
us, man.
stretching over to Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
And that's how they got their buzz early on, because everybody was like, holy shit, look at all these tour dates these two kids from Alabama are doing.
Yeah.
Just same kind of thing, dude, where it's like you're going back and you're playing, and now you have a honey hole in Carolina forever, where you guys take this highway home thing there.
Yeah.
You take it to Birmingham.
Yeah.
You take it back to Atlanta. Like,
Yeah.
there's all that's such a huge thing. But yeah, getting your reps is
Yeah.
huge, man.
To circle, yeah, I mean, even just to circle back through that, it's like we played those, and then I was like, dude, I have to be in town more, because I mean, it felt like I should be living in Clemson.
Yeah.
Like I'm blowing up cars because I'm driving back and forth so much. And so Broadway was the answer for that. And if it wouldn't have been for that, there's a chance that I would have ended up as a daggum wedding band singer. And that would have, no worries on that. People can do that, but it's not what I want for my career. And because I was able to have that resource of, I never had a side gig, like a job, ever. I always played music for the last 4 years, moving to Nashville. Yeah. And this would not, there's a chance the Lord would have worked it out some other way. He has his ways. But this, in my mind, wouldn't have worked out if it wouldn't have been for like the opportunities that came from Broadway, which is funny. So young kids, it's okay to play. Don't be embarrassed if that's what you're doing.
And what I loved about your crew's stint on Broadway was that your homies would come out and watch, and like it was and homies would hop up and sing with everybody.
It was so damn fun.
Like it was the whole squad would go out, and a lot of times locals, for those watching and listening, locals don't go down the Broadway a ton. You kind of do a lot when you first move here, because you're like, oh my god, this is here.
Yeah.
The drinking, the music, the women, the this, that. Like it's a fun time. But your crew would always come out to support. And then you'd want to take a break or walk around with the tip jug, and you'd have 4 or 5 homies on deck that would hop up and not just sing, but play all the
You
instruments.
could
yeah.
replace a whole band.
Literally.
Yeah.
Just within this.
You and Max King hopping up and singing
dude.
"He Went to Jared" together. I remember the random times, because I worked on Broadway when I first got here. I was a door guy at Whiskey Row for about a year.
Oh, really? I didn't even know
So
that.
I don't go to Broadway a lot anymore, because I feel like I did my time down
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But whenever we are down there, I remember just stumbling into the Valentine and being like, "Oh shit, the boys are playing."
Yeah.
There's 3 full tables of the homies in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're on
So
stage.
much.
almost every
Yeah.
gig.
I loved it when that text went out, dude. They would be there. We had our whole group, and you'd be on stage, and someone would just be like, "Everyone convene. Valentine, Connor's on." Everyone just went down.
And then after they would do that, me and Max King would be playing down at Whiskey River, and then all the boys would pull up, and it would just be like, we'd be 3/4 of the way done with our set, and we're exhausted and drunk, and then Connor and Justin or Walker
Yeah.
or Little Skinny would hop up there and just like overtake the whole band. Schools would always end up on the drums for some
That boy
not
loves to
good
get on the
reason.
drums.
He really does.
That's
He
his
really
like
does.
thing.
But that makes Broadway more. That's the best way to do it. If you're down there gigging, have your buddies you guys were all in it together, just doing what you could to scrape by. Some folks cutting grass, some folks building fences, some folks driving the damn party tractors, but all coming out and supporting. And like, the only way I think you really get through it is either you get really lucky or blessed, or you have the support system of your homies around you.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't realize how much it sucks as much. You know that it sucks.
Yeah.
You're grinding.
Back then, it didn't feel like work.
No.
because it was so fun.
Yeah.
When it started to feel like work was when I was like, okay, all right, we gotta get something off the ground here. We gotta get rolling.
Yeah, but it feels like an extension of college almost.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like it feels like you're in a
College, too.
frat.
It was
You're-
my college.
You're in a frat with your boys, and you're doing the same shit that you're doing in college, but you're studying Nashville. You're studying how to write songs, how to play gigs, how to play your instruments. Like, there's something beautiful about
Dude,
that.
it was my college. Like, because I didn't go. I did go to MTSU for a little stint, but that came to a screeching halt. And then I moved back to Birmingham, and then decided to move to actual Nashville.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was college for me, dude. It was just like every Monday night, 10 to 2 at Famous on Second or Whiskey River with Max, or occasionally I would do a thing. I actually met Ryan Cohn that
Yeah.
way.
Wow.
Dude,
He was
so-
playing bass, wasn't he?
No, dude. He
playing?
came in right when he moved to town. We were playing at Famous on Second. We were doing the 10 to 2 shift, which
Famous
a
was
lot of
brutal.
it was brutal, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Rip that place.
Yeah.
But it was brutal some of those late nights. And this kid came in with glasses, and Max was like, "Hey, my friend's here. He wants to see about playing some shifts down here. Can y'all cool if he hops up and plays a few songs with y'all?" And we were like, "Sure." And he got up there and just like sang his ass off on a bunch of songs, and is a great guitar player too. And so I made friends with him through that, and like I met so many musician buddies too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
because I'm a player, I mean, I've made my living here playing guitar, and so many of my musician friends, bassists, pedal steel players, drummers, any other instrument. It was like so many of us met just being like, oh, okay, I'm rolling up to play with one buddy, and then the other 2 or 3 guys I've never met, and now they're some of my best friends in the world.
Yeah, man. It's and Broadway is that revenue generator. That's how you pay your rent. When it becomes like dead season, and people aren't touring, you'll see guys that are on the road with big people.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
I remember the Muscadine guys back in the day. They don't do it as much anymore, but like Zoltan and Weston and Justin would go and play Broadway gigs. Like, there's guys that are on freaking arena tours or stadium tours that are in the off season playing down on Broadway.
Yeah. It leveled up my playing a lot too.
Oh, I'm
as
sure.
a guitarist.
Same.
Like,
I'm sure when you get that request and you and the boys are having to figure out how do we
dude,
play.
you're like holding up an iPhone to your ear in real time.
They threw $40 in. We gotta play this, you know.
And it sure teaches you how to like sing through times where you don't feel like a great singer. Like, you really just have to learn how to muster it up, and that's really important, because once you get out here, like, I mean, just even over this weekend, like, man, we're exhausted by the time we get to the day of the show. And like, you just learn down there how to just power through, or just find that extra little bit that you have in you that you maybe wouldn't know was there if you didn't have to do it before.
Yeah, did you guys do doubles a lot or triples or any of those?
Never. Not as a
I did
singer.
one.
I had
did it
a
once,
lot
yeah.
when I was working at Whiskey Row. I had a lot of buddies. They were mostly the players would do the triples.
Yeah.
and I was like, "How are you doing this for 12 hours at
Dude,
3 different
If you do
spots?"
that consistently, you're clearing like you make $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
doing that shit.
And you
Yeah,
don't
it
have
is
to,
insane.
and you don't have to go on the road or ever sleep in a hotel. You're sleeping
Yeah.
in your bed every night.
Yeah.
You know.
As a singer, I did one double, and that was.
As a singer,
and
it's-
I was
singer's
done.
tough,
I was like, no shot. I'm never doing that again. I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, as a player, did you ever go around and do a couple?
I did a double or two. I never did a triple, but I do remember the one that I can remember at least doing was like a, what was it, a 6 to 10 and then a 10 to close kind of thing, which is a long night. And I remember by like the last hour of the second shift, so hour 7 of playing guitar, my fingers were literally like black on the end from the strings, and there was like no skin left, dude. And after that, I don't think I could play guitar for like a week because they were just so shredded.
And there's crazy bastards that do that all the time.
I know.
Do it every
It's like-
weekend.
just
oh,
conditioning,
geez.
man.
Yeah, man.
It is like
Yeah, man,
you got to
it's
condition
wild.
yourself so hard to be able to pull that off.
So what do you guys like doing when you're not doing the music stuff? I know right now we're busy because we're things are working. Things are taking off. You got the second single out. You guys are getting out to go on the road and play originals, which is the dream, you know. But what do we like doing when we're not doing the music thing? I'm sure you're still out on the golf course, probably smoking everybody.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely my one.
Have you
thing.
guys played golf with him yet?
Oh, a bunch.
All the time. We
do
played
it all the time.
Friday in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Right before the tornado was coming in, the wind was insane.
Oh shit, that's right. There was a tornado up there.
It was like 90 miles away from us, but still, that wind was. I mean,
It was
It's
nuts.
like
It
50
was
mile
so
per hour
fun, though.
winds. It
How was
crazy.
South Dakota golf? Was it like
Dude, it was
open
fun.
plains golf? Was it like a links or was it like mountainy golf?
No, we played. I mean, it was pretty flat, but it was just like 9-hole, like short par fours. Couple. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was not a hard course, but it was like exactly what I needed. You know, I think all of us like. I tell everyone, and a lot of people when they figure out that I am good at golf, you know, they're like, "Oh, I can't play with you," but it's like my competition, my, you know, like drive to like really be good is kind of gone. Like if I go out there, I just want to have fun. I want to drink. I want to honestly play a bad course because it's cheaper.
Oh yeah.
I'm not looking. You know,
Shout out Riverside.
Yeah.
Shout out McCabe.
McCabe.
Shout out
McCabe is
what's
my
the
home.
what's the one up north that's a fucking shit show?
What, Shelby?
No, not Shelby.
Ted
Shel-
Rhodes.
There's one that's up north that nobody goes to that I go to with Ike all the time.
But it's like municipal.
There's nobody on the course. Like it's what the hell's that damn golf
gonna have to
course
send
called?
it to us.
I'm gonna have to look that up. It's like
when I think up north, I think like 12 Stones, but that's nice.
no, yeah, 12
Yeah.
Stones is nice. There's a really shitty golf course, but it has potential to be fucking awesome. It's like up in the middle of nowhere.
We should
like,
buy it.
yeah, dude, it's like there's
Highway Home
nobody
Links.
ever on it. It's like not Oak Hills. What the hell is it? I'll have to find it.
Fairway Home?
Ike
There we go.
Ike knows the course, but Pebblebrook.
okay, I've heard of it. I hadn't played it.
Not to be
Pebblebrook.
confused with Pebble Beach.
Not no, it is the complete. That's so. I've never thought about Pebble Beach, dude. Pebblebrook is great. It's like $40, and there's never anybody on the course, but it's like mountain golf, and
Oh,
like
it's
it's like
beautiful.
That
five.
sounds fun.
It's
Yeah.
like 5 minutes from hole to hole.
Yeah.
In the golf cart that goes really slow, and there's nobody ever on the course. It's literally so you can go out and play with like.
You can get hammered, is what it sounds
Oh,
like.
dude, we bring
dudes, 8 dudes playing at the same
we
time.
bring out some good smoke, bring out some cigars, and bring out like a case of Surfside, and
Yeah.
the gang has fun. You can go like 8-12 deep per hole because
Dude,
there's
that's
nobody
amazing.
else on there. So
Unbelievable.
pace of play doesn't matter.
Next time you do that, we need to be
Oh,
included.
dude, I would
That's-
love to watch you hit off these damn mountains.
Oh, I'm
There's
so
more
in.
sand on
Yeah.
the green than in the sand trap. It's awesome, dude. It's so much fun. And it's cheap as fuck. That's what I
That's
love.
so
Is the
good.
cheap golf courses.
Yeah, well, I remember because from high school through the beginning of me moving to Nashville. I mean, that was what, like 12, 13 years of free golf.
Yeah.
You know, and like I not having to pay for it, especially college. Like yeah, I'm playing like, you know, courses that are like $400 a round where I'm not, you know, you don't have to think about paying because everything you can go out there and practice whenever you want, you can play whenever
Yeah.
you want. And so that was my like that just got embedded in me that golf is free. And so when I first moved out here, I worked at Old Hickory for like, I don't know, maybe 4 months. And that kind of like it kept going. But once I went over to Tacovas and started selling boots. So
Oh,
I didn't have.
Which, by the way, cheat code: have buddies that work at the damn nice boot stores,
Yeah.
and you can get yourself some nice.
Oh, dude,
bought, like,
Eamon,
six-
go get
You
rehired.
I
and
hooked up
Garrett Del
everyone.
Tuva
I hooked
helped
up
me get some
everyone,
nice
bro.
boots.
Yeah,
That was
like
my
6
favorite.
pairs from Eamon.
That was my favorite thing. It's like, look, like, I get four a year, and like I might buy one if it's cool. But honestly, like my discount is y'all's discount. Like use it.
Hook up the homies, dude. That was awesome. So you out in the golf? What do you like
Yeah,
doing?
he's on the golf course.
You're married now too, right?
I am married,
Hell
so
yeah, congrats.
my favorite hobby is hanging out with my wife.
And maybe mowing your lawn.
And
you seem
mowing.
to do that
I
a
do
lot.
love mowing the grass. Yeah.
Are we push mower or are we on a ride?
Dude, let me tell you about the John Deere LT 166. 16 horsepower, 42-inch deck. Thing's a unit.
Yeah,
No,
that's awesome. We
My-
got to get some content of you on the mower if you guys haven't done that.
there's a little bit. Yeah.
There's not enough.
There's not enough. Yeah, I love things that go vroom. Stanton and I are huge outdoorsmen, but I'm gonna let him take the outdoorsman lane, and I'm gonna go with the. I mean, I literally every day I think about things that go vroom. Dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, like I want to go fast. I want to, and then I even
you and
bought a.
schools had a little thing going where you were fixing up bikes, right?
We were. So I've been doing that in college. That was how, other than music, that was another way I made money. So everyone rides mopeds in Clemson. To class, to the bars, doesn't matter. Mopeds are everywhere. The frat houses would have moped graveyards. And so I would go, because they would be like, it's not running. They just throw it in a pile with other ones. And I'd go get the best looking ones, and I'd take them back and literally just replace the carburetor or the drive belt or whatever. And then I'd sell them for $300-$400. Because I'd be playing at the frats and be like, hey, where's y'all's graveyard? And they would point me to it, be like, take what you want. And I had a trailer full of music equipment. I'd throw 3 mopeds in on top.
That's awesome.
So, yes, Justin and I were working on bikes for a little bit back when I was renting that house with the awesome shop. And now I'm pinching pennies, and someday I'm going to build a shop at the house that Mary Claire and I bought. But, yeah, I mean, for me, on a daily basis, I like to be on the boat. I like to ride. I do have a moped now, but it's a motorcycle in a moped's body, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Because how fast do you think we were going down that hill
We were
last
going
night?
45.
45,
Yeah.
45, 50. I've gotten it almost to 60
Wow.
downhill, you know? So, I mean, it's not a true moped, but I pretend it is.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So I don't get a ticket for not having
That's
a
how a
motor.
moped should be.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's like one of my passions. I think about riding dirt bikes mainly, just about every day. And I'm trying to get them to, like, I can't wait to buy both of them a dirt bike and be like, okay, now you have to ride with me. You know,
We've been saying since the beginning that like once we get a bus and a trailer and all that stuff, like we're all gonna have like a little like pit bike that we can just cruise around venues with and just be dumbasses.
Oh, just go explore. That content would be electric too.
Oh, yeah.
Just go all around whatever like club. Like, could you imagine having a bike to go from, to go in any of these college towns, like riding around Statesboro or Athens or Birmingham on a fucking pit bike?
I'm ready.
yeah, I'm
That'd
excited
be awesome.
too.
That'd be awesome. So talk about your love for the outdoors, your
So-
Alabama side.
Yeah, man. I grew up hunting and fishing and you know, there's a lot of people luckily that are here that do that. But I mean, I've always told people it's like music and then a very close second is to hunt. It just is something to me that I can't even explain in words like how much it means to me or how much joy I get from being out in the woods. Like we have some land in Sylacauga, Alabama, and we got it when I was 12 and we were hunting, you know, when I was a kid on other people's places up until then. But I mean, dude, that place is like, that's my house is like out there. Like when I think of like where I want to go back to when I do go home, that's like the number one place for me. Just growing up being a kid and like you can get away from everything, you know? And I know we all feel that way about our respective pastimes, but like you get musiced out sometimes when you do this as much as we do.
Yeah.
And I know you know about that too.
I even do, and I don't even freaking play or write or none of it.
And so to be able to so the Muscadine guy, like Gary, I haven't met Gary yet, but I really want to because he's a big turkey hunter, and so am I.
and he's got your same, you and him.
And we have the same name, sort of, yeah. You know, which maybe we are related because my name is a last name, my grandmother's maiden name. But anyway, dude,
I bet y'all are.
getting out in the woods and you know chasing a turkey around is just like a complete removal from everything that might be stressing you out or whatever you're working towards. Like we all need breaks to get inspired again, and I cannot tell you how many times I've left the woods with a song idea that turned into like still some of the favorite songs I've ever written.
Yeah.
Because you just have this like, I guess it scratches that like primal itch or whatever, where you can just get so locked in on it and you feel connected to God, like you're away from all the noise. You're not dealing with any people except for maybe the dumbass friend you take with you.
Yeah.
But
Or the guy who says, no, actually, I have this blind today.
yeah.
We'll tell that story in a minute.
Yeah, no. So we're all working on getting each other into our hobbies, and it's you know we're gonna get on the dirt bikes here soon. We did kind of do that one day a little bit, which was kind of like
At the Rutherford
property, out there in Pegram. But Eamon's got me on golf, so I'm slowly working my way up to hitting it straight every now and again.
Yeah.
He was
played
crushing
good
them on
in South
Friday.
Dakota.
That's awesome.
Well, it helps when you have a 50-mile-an-hour wind off the right. All you have to do is
Saved
slice
your
it.
slice.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna say
just-
I'm a slicing guy too. We play Riverside all
Yeah.
the time because I'm out this way,
Yeah.
and there's the one hole with like the telephone poles like right up against the river,
Right.
and I have like a party trick where I will aim around it and I'll hit around the telephone pole and end up in the fairway.
That's
and then I
awesome.
tried doing it at the Creative Vets golf tournament at Old Hickory,
Hit it
and I
straight.
tried doing it on that hole. on the hole where you're right up on the road.
Yeah.
And it just went straight. I definitely hit somebody's
You,
car
like, went
coming down
over the
the
road,
it didn't come back. It just went out to the road. I definitely hit somebody's car.
Is that 10? No, that's on the front 9. That's like 8.
Yeah, I think it's hole
8.
number 8. Yeah,
Or
'cause-
9.
Yeah, it's one of
Coming back to
those.
the clubhouse.
Yeah, because I remember hitting it out there and being like, "Oh shit, guys, we gotta go. we got to get out of this
We
tee
gotta
box."
roll.
So, what do we got coming up in the future now? We just got trailer just came out, and you guys out on the road. Like, what do we got planned for the rest of this year?
Get out the calendar. I forgot.
Bunch. Yeah, we it's exciting, man. We got the offer to go out with Mr. Graham Barham.
Oh, sick!
Starting September 11th. And so, how many dates?
26.
26.
Wow.
Yeah. We're
All
pumped, man.
over the place.
Yeah,
It's
so-
crazy.
We're psyched for that. That's gonna be super fun.
Yeah.
I think second weekend we go to Canada, which is cool.
Yeah.
You go internationally.
Yeah,
Dude, Toronto loves GB, man.
That's awesome.
We've been a couple of times opening for people. We just went with Dylan Scott like a few months ago, and it was like probably the best show of that whole tour, dude. It was just like they love Graham up there. So when I saw those dates on the calendar, I was like, well, that's going to be an interesting travel experience for us in this band, but I know it's going to be a good show.
Oh yeah, that'll be freaking awesome.
We're so grateful, very excited. I mean, it's been a huge goal of mine personally, is just to be on an actual tour. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
one-off openers happen all the time. But yeah.
And the other exciting thing for me, and you kind of touched on this, like being a solo artist, like the whole thing. Everyone says that for you to make it work, like you got to put out music, like it's like consistent, and being broke, and that's not easy.
Yeah.
Whenever you're trying to do it, and so we are going to be able to put out like a song a month, and we have all
hell yeah.
these, all these lined up that. We're starting to get to the point where it's not just like, okay, we have 6, that we can do. We got to write more. It's like we have a lot that we're having to pick, handpick to like start going forward, which is like super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. I'm going to have to look up those tour dates. Nikki T and I are going to have to get to a GB highway home.
Oh,
show.
yeah.
You got to come out.
Well,
That
we
would
got
be
Basement
it's-
East.
Yeah, it's towards.
Oh, they have one that's here.
Yeah, towards
Okay.
the end of the.
I like
end of the,
I like going to the shows that are out of Nashville
Yeah.
because the Nashville shows are the Nashville shows.
true.
I like being out there in the wild with the people.
Yeah. So do I.
We've got Kentucky,
Oh hell yeah.
Ohio, Knoxville, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Sick.
Charlotte.
Nice.
Those are all accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
nice.
yeah. Oh, we love a road trip. We love a little rowdy on the road
Yeah.
experience.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be,
Where Nikki T and I ride, we spend
Yeah.
about an hour in a Buc-ee's,
we're gonna be in your neck of the woods, New
Oh,
York,
really?
for
We've got New York and New Jersey.
yeah.
Oh no shit. Where
Yeah.
in Jersey? Do we know?
Asbury
yeah.
Park.
Oh no shit. When is that? I used to do shows there like that. I
No
saw
shot.
I saw Wallen in Asbury Park.
That's
Oh, really?
2017.
I would
yeah.
not be surprised if it was the same venue.
We're actually
It's
playing a lot of same I mean, there's common club circuit, so
Yeah.
like, we're doing a lot of those venues.
House of Independence.
Oh yeah, that is literally where I saw my boy Dave Hangley, who is now John Morgan's utility player and
Yeah.
tour manager, opened for Wallen at the House of Independence when it first opened. Yeah, that was I want to say like spring of 2018. That was right before I moved.
Empire Live, Mercury Lounge.
Oh yeah, the Mercury Lounge. You play in that room?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
dude, Mercury Lounge is sick. It's like the basement where it's like it's small.
Oh, no.
But where they but no.
it's
It's
sick.
not no.
It's sick.
It's a cool room because they do all different genres and they'll do multiple shows in a night. So there'll be like an afternoon, there'll be like the prime one, which will be when you guys are, and then there'll be another show that'll go late night and they'll stay open till like 3 a.m. every night.
wow.
And then Cat's Deli is there, which is like one of the best delis ever. It's like $30 for like this giant ass pastrami sandwich, but it's really good. They used to film Curb Your Enthusiasm and Seinfeld there all the time. Like that's on Houston Street. Looks like Houston, but they pronounce it Houston. That's a great part of New York City to be in. Yeah, you're right near the Village. All the great pizza shops are right there. Like,
Actually, I'm glad we're talking about this because, I've never been to New York personally.
Yeah,
and so I need all the.
You're going to the
notes.
best spot for it. And you're going to Albany, Boston, Columbus. I would assume is the Bluestone.
Yep.
Have you guys
Are
been
we
there?
playing Bluestone?
I'm pretty sure.
If it's Columbus, it would
Either
be
that or somebody else was talking about it yesterday.
yeah.
And
it might be the Bluestone, which
Dude,
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the
It's
Bluestone.
A&R Bar.
A&R Bar? Okay, I haven't been there, but you guys you guys
Y'all
got
were
a ton of gigs.
It was you
all
that was
over
talking
the
about how
place.
excited when you went to Bluestone with Drake.
Yeah,
right? How
yeah.
awesome
Yeah,
it
that
was.
old church.
Dude, he's like, that's like his spot. And so I'm out on the road with Drake White selling merch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's
Yeah,
been my
yeah.
thing for the past year. And so I was last year. When I hopped on, I think they just played it, so it was just talked about nonstop. And we finally got to go, and man, it was insane. It was insane. And I mean, it really is like the Ryman up there. Like
Oh,
that,
dude.
like it really
I've
is.
played that with Graham. We
Yeah.
opened for Earn there,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Oh, that's
that
Well, the,
place.
dude,
is
the
amazing.
crazy thing is that was a full circle because I didn't know that this was a place. But when I was probably a sophomore, maybe junior in college, me and my buddy Cooper got like super hooked on Drake White because we found this cover of him doing "Can't You See," and he was sitting there at a bar with like all these like crazy old church windows behind him, and it was just like super cool. And I've watched that video probably 200 times.
Yeah.
And I told him that when I got on, and he still didn't tell me that was Bluestone, so I had no
Yeah.
clue. So I walked in there to load in merch, and I was walking around just seeing everything. And it's upstairs in the back.
Yep.
And I walk in this room, and immediately I was just like, no shit.
Yeah.
I went back on the bus. I was like, you asshole, dude. Why did you tell me that this is...
One of the best venues
Dude,
there
it
is.
is
Dude. I've only
unreal.
gotten to go there once. It was with Muscadine back in the day. Tyler Booth opened. It was 2019. And it was it was unbelievable. It's the acoustics in there. You guys are also going to the Rave Eagle Club.
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait.
Which if you've probably been through there.
I've been through there.
Yeah, it's
I have
special.
not. I'm so
It's awesome.
excited.
Special.
We
That's
actually
awesome.
played there on Halloween last year.
Oh, what
Yeah.
a night
Nice.
to play
it was
there.
pretty cool. There was like,
It's haunted, right?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
incredibly
It feels
It's
haunted.
like
like,
it.
dude, it's like, what, 4 stories?
yeah, and
It's-
then the famous pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's four rooms, and then the hotel across the street was one of the Jeffrey Dahmer hotels.
Dude. And the pool, so the green rooms are downstairs next to the pool. And I've gotten together twice with Drake now. But the first time, I was having to hurry. Everybody was doing something else. We were about to open up. And so I ran down and needed a shower. And the showers are like literally what you see in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
like walk
it's-
in, and it's just like, they have like seven shower heads. Only like 2 of them work. And it's just an open thing. And it's right next to where the pool is, which is haunted. It's like all downstairs. No one's there but me. And so I'm taking a shower, and the water starts to like kind of go off and go on. The lights start flickering. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo.
Dude, it was like when we played there, the walk from the green room to the stage is like, or the stage we were playing on was like really far, and you got to go through the pool every time. And there's like an occasional security guard at like each doorway kind of thing, but it was like it felt like a mile walk, and so going back and forth a million times, and it was like every time I would walk through the pool area, you have to like go through this dark hallway, and I would be like running through there by myself like a kid.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I did the very small room there with Gary and Chuck back in the day. So our green room was like hippie tapestries and like still a little weird. But what's cool
We
is
had the same one.
you did? Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. They have they'll do multiple shows at the same time.
Wow.
So at least they did back then.
No, they still do.
They still do. So we were downstairs, and then there was a band called, or this DJ called Galantis that was upstairs. So as we're loading out, there's like, you literally see the building shaking from the bass of this DJ. So there's like a rave going on upstairs as Gary and Charlie are singing Porch Swing Angel back in the day.
dude.
It was wild. We're loading out. There's like kids dangling out the windows, like
Dude,
puking and stuff.
It's so funny because all the stages as you go up, it's like they're like it's the same type of room where you kind of still got. They always have Halloween decorations up, and so. But if you get to the top one, because the first one we were opening up for Jamie Johnson, and this top room is just
the ballroom's
gorgeous,
and it's massive.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
and it's like it doesn't fit the room at all. So we're sitting there, I'm like watching this beautiful. And I forget where we are, and I'm like walking down, and everything else is just spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have a good time there. You guys are also doing carols in Chicago, which is a great spot. Our buddy Ed Warm, who also runs Joe's on Weed and Joe's Live, like you guys are going to some awesome rooms. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out. I might have to do the trip home on that weekend of the 25th, 27th if we're in town. So. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
You guys, congrats on that. When are we looking at the new? I know we just dropped a song, but when
Yeah.
are we looking at the next one?
Did
very soon.
Yeah.
This month.
This month.
I think it's like the 24th.
Yeah.
And we're
Oh, yeah.
gonna get that submitted. I mean, that hasn't been announced, but this isn't gonna come out yet. So I think it's not the 24th.
25th.
Sick. And which one's that?
Stanton, go for it.
It's a song called Layover. We wrote with our good buddy Corey Crowder.
First song we wrote with Corey.
It was the first song we wrote with Corey. And can I tell the story on that
Yeah,
one?
for sure.
It was pretty cool. So Eamon meets Corey a few years ago, right? And they became friends. Long story short, and basically, well, you tell him about the how you got to know Corey.
Yeah. So when I was working at Tuscaloosa, this is after Cherokee 20 had been disbanded, but Logan had already moved to Nashville, and I'd already made the decision. I told the clubhouse and everything. I was like, hey, I got a month left, and I'm just gonna move. I'm going for it. And in that frame of time, Corey Crowder had joined at Tuscaloosa and had all these people coming up. It's like, yo, like, have you met Corey? And I'm like, who is Corey? Like, again, like, I'm like, I didn't know.
Legend.
At this time, he was the #1 songwriter in country music. It had, like, I think that was Famous Friends had come out, had some other, like, Kane Brown, had all these Florida Georgia Line things. And so I do my research, but, I don't want to be the guy to be like, hey, like, I'm doing music too. Well, that was done for me. All the members were going up to him like, hey, we got this kid that does music. Like, you're going to love him. And so finally he comes up. I'm working. I'm at the cart bar, and he comes up. He goes, hey, everyone's been telling me to come talk to you. Like, what's the deal? And I was like, look, I'm moving to Nashville. I don't know anything. Like, we just go down to the restaurant and just talk. And I mean, dude, he is a champion. He told me exactly what I needed to know. Because, I played him some songs, and he was like, these are good. And he was like, look, this is how I went to Nashville, like, same thing you're doing. Didn't know anybody, was broke, and I worked my ass off. And I got lucky along the way to get the opportunities I did, and, now I've made it. And he was like, I will be in your corner. I think you have the goods, but do not, I'm not going to open any doors for you. I will not set you up with rights. I will not do this. Like, I'm not just going to write with you. Like, you got to earn it. And so go down there, work your ass off. Send me songs if you want to. I'll tell you if they're good, tell you if they're not. But he was like, there's going to come a day to where whenever you've done it and whenever it's time, like, we'll write. And I was like, all right. And so 3 years go by, and, I'm going back to Tuscaloosa and seeing him and hanging out and, sending him songs, and we're, still good buddies talking, but still haven't gotten an offer. And so I'm just like really trying to, do whatever I can to get that. And then we start Highway Home, and the first post, on Instagram, like, announcing it, he screenshots and sends me a text and goes, yo, like, tell me about this. He's like, y'all got any songs? And so I sent him Broken His Mind.
We probably only had that song.
Yeah, we did. I sent him Broken His Mind, and immediately he just sent back, y'all send me some dates. And I called him. I was like, yo, dude, like, this is it. This is it.
And it was it.
Yeah.
This song came from it, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
it was a hook I'd been sitting on forever.
Yeah, it was cool. We go down there, and we're hanging out for like a few days, and we're hanging out, and we're just getting to know Corey. I mean, I'd never met him. I don't know. You've never met him either. And I mean, dude, first of all, he's just the coolest guy in the world. Like, he just took us in as like kind of just like a mentor to us, while also just being a friend and not feeling like our dad or anything, but just like he immediately kind of took us under his wing so fast. And so we were having the best time down there, but then we knew the next day we were going to write. And he was basically like, yeah, I mean, what I do or did when I was younger was like, show up with a verse and a chorus, or at least an outline of one. Like, that's kind of the way to do it. And it was sort of, I think, him being like, do that.
We all looked at each other. We were like, shit.
It's like 11 o'clock. We have nothing. We're like, oh,
we're
God.
drunk. We've been at dinner. We've just been having nothing but a good time for like 48 hours, and now tomorrow is like what we're actually here for. And so we go back, and I think I just picked up my guitar, and I wasn't even meaning to do anything. I just started strumming these chords or whatever, and the two of them were sort of like, they kind of sat down and were like, "What's that?" And I was like, I don't know. And then Connor had this idea, which I can explain it again. I can't remember how it stumbled upon us.
The idea was I was flying one time, and I like thought the town, like the city, was super cool. Like, I just kind of like looked around, was like, it just seemed like a cool place. I don't even remember where it was, but I was like, dang, I wish I could stay just like a little bit longer than just a layover, And so longer than a layover, I wrote that down, and I was like, that's freaking sick. I love that. And so, yeah, once you were playing those chords, I remember that, like, once we got that, if she could just stay.
Yeah.
Like, it became like a whole heartbreak, but it's such a cool song. Like, you're either writing like I just lost my wife, girlfriend, or whatever, like long-term person is like, how a lot of the heartbreak songs go. But this is so cool because it's like I don't know, it just feels almost more real.
It is. I mean, I think it's something that's like not been written a lot, but it's relatable to things that have been, because it's something that kind of everyone has gone through their own version of. I mean, we've all got the one that got away, or a few that got away. But yeah, so we started messing around with that, and we probably wrote the verse and then kind of just a melody of a chorus, just kind of mumbling through stuff.
Yeah,
I thought we wrote the chorus that night.
we did. We wrote the chorus.
Did we write the
That
chorus
was all
that
we
night?
wrote. Yeah,
Maybe that
just
was all we wrote.
It was
Okay.
just the chorus, and then we ended up changing things too, because it wasn't great, but it was a great
It
idea.
was enough for us to be
Yeah.
stoked about it.
Yeah.
And so we
Yeah.
show up the next day at Corey's house, and like, I don't know about y'all, but
God, I
I
hope
mean,
he likes it.
I was pretty nervous.
So
you know?
nervous.
I'm like sweating.
Turn in your final paper.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, this is graduation or not.
And he's like, y'all got anything? And we were like, yeah, we started messing with this last night, and like, luckily it hit him, and he was like, oh yeah, and he just turns around at his computer and just starts cooking immediately.
Yeah.
And like within 15 seconds,
Oh, yeah.
he like already had a beat ready for it, so we could write to it and just
Yep.
capture a vibe like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, we finished that song in 40 minutes or something.
Yeah,
It was
something like
like
that.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were super stoked on it. We did a demo immediately, and that was kind of like our fourth or fifth, sixth song we had written
Had even
together.
written, yeah.
I mean, we'd been a band for like a month at this point.
Yeah.
And yeah, it turned out to be a great one. So we added it to the list, and we got in the studio a month after that. We cut it, and it's probably one of my favorites, but it's probably my favorite one live, just because I don't want to spoil too much of it. But there's a particular moment in the song where the vocals really get to shine. So
Which you've seen.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
Yeah.
dude. It's electric is what
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
I love the
It's fun.
song.
It's
And it's
really
cool
fun.
because the world was introduced to Eamon singing melody first, and then myself, and then Stanton is next. And so I'm just excited for like, once we have these first three songs out, I'm sure y'all feel the same way. It's like, okay, it's established. There's three lead
established.
singers.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
even people that don't even know us or even know us on social media, if they're just listening to the music, they know what's up.
Yeah.
They'll actually
Yeah.
probably be waiting on a fourth, and then they'll realize there isn't one. You know?
and then they can just
Special guest.
they can know now going forward that just like PSA, whoever's in the middle on the album cover is the one
That's
who's
the
singing
one
the
singing,
song.
exactly, yeah.
So there's a cheat code.
That's awesome, guys. I'm excited for that. And like you said, we've gotten to hear you live. I've gotten to see you guys individually on rounds and doing our stuff for really since you guys all got to town. But when we have you guys trio, it's a pleasure. Like you three just with your acoustic guitars. You don't even need the band behind you because you guys are making enough noise with the damn harmonies and the guitars and everything, and it's awesome, man. So we love having you guys in our Raised Rowdy family. And was this podcast number one, or had you guys done another one?
No, I think this is podcast number
As
one.
Highway Home? Is this
Yeah.
podcast number one?
so.
It
Yeah,
is.
I think so.
Yep.
Fuck yeah! I got
Shoot,
the
yeah.
first podcast. Let's go.
Well done.
That's awesome. That's a big moment, man.
Yeah, man.
I love being people's first on
Yeah.
the podcast. That's awesome. Taking the podcast cherry, we're popping it right away. So I appreciate the hell out of you guys, and love what you guys are doing, and love watching it grow, and can't wait. I mean, this fall tour is going to be huge. Gonna be cool for you. You get to pull double duty every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked on
Bless
that,
your
man.
heart.
I did want to say, Graham Barham, everyone. He's like my big brother.
Yeah.
He's the greatest dude I know. He is just like, for reasons I don't know why, man. He's just like opened so many doors for me and now for us. And like from the time I started playing for him, like he's made such good on his promise. Because when I started playing for him, he basically came to me. I played banjo on like Break It in a Bar or something. And he came to me after that and was like, okay, dude, look, I know you're here to be an artist, but you have tons of live show experience like we were talking about. And he's like, I have literally none. If you'll play for me and like help me navigate that, I will like open as many doors for you or help you with the social media stuff as much as I can for your artist career. And like, dude, he's never faltered on that.
Yeah.
He has only really grown in that way and really just kept opening doors for me. So I love you, bro. He's the man. He's
Shout
the
out,
man.
That's
shout
freaking
out GB.
awesome.
That's
GB.
awesome. What's something that you guys would want to tell, like thinking back to those, you guys, younger you, getting ready to move here,
Yeah.
and now fast forward to summer of 2025, you're getting to go play clubs around North America, not just America. You're going to Canada too. But you guys have songs out. You're in this awesome trio, and you're seeing the rocket ship getting ready to go up? Like, what would you tell that kid that's nervous about moving here, that knows they want to do music but doesn't know how they're going to do it yet?
This mine kind of starts out where it sounds like on a bad note, but it's what you need to know is that you're moving into a losing game. Like there's so many people doing the same thing, and you can't expect things to just happen. Now they do, but the main thing is like, you just have to keep your mind open, and the main thing is just be a good person and shake hands, because everyone wants to shake your hand and everyone is going to want to write with you. When you first get here, say yes to everything, because you never know. That one song that you write that you think is good and then it gets shelved, you don't know what's going to happen. That person you write it could get signed, and then when they get signed, their publisher could go through and be like, no, this song is it. You could have a number one just sitting there. You never know. And so I would say don't ever expect anything, but just know that it's so much fun. And, you just have to keep your options open. You never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen. We didn't know that we were going to be a trio. I didn't know that I was going to meet these dudes and do this. And there was a lot of things along the way to where it was like, what am I doing here? Should I leave? Is this a losing thing? But you just kind of keep pushing, keep a smile on your face, and a door's open. That's what happens. Yeah.
To keep it, to be simple, it's trust God and trust the process. The Lord opens these doors, and then he closes the ones that are supposed to be closed. I've done too many things. I've failed so many times and have genuinely been massively discouraged so many times. But this is all I've ever wanted to do. And so I would just say to anybody who, is discouraged or, upset, like sometimes, I guess the last little thing is trust God, trust the process, and sometimes your plan is not the right plan. I didn't move here to join a trio.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine my career without being in this trio. Like this is what I want to win. Yeah. This is what's going to win. This is my final say. This is it.
Yeah.
Like if it isn't this, then get ready, insurance world.
Amen.
I would probably tell myself, keep being encouraging and being happy for other people no matter what. Even if somebody else moves to town and instantly just gets on a rocket ship and just goes right by you, it doesn't matter that this is all you've ever wanted. Don't be jealous of them. Mm-hmm. Don't dislike them. Don't hold disdain for anybody because of that. Just be happy for them. And because when you're uplifting for other people and their day in the sun, opportunities come your way. And so I would just tell my younger self, just keep doing that, even on the days where you really don't want to.
Yeah. Amen. Great words. You guys are wise beyond your years. How old are all of you again?
I'm the old man, 28.
You're 28.
26.
26?
24.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Well, you boys are killing it. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Dude,
here.
thank you, man.
I'm going to send you guys home with an 8-pack of Surfside each.
Come on.
I know we already have a bunch of Raised Rowdy hats. Shout out to Connor over here wearing the old Mike Stoll and Country for All shirt.
Come on.
Nikki T does have that tattoo of Dolly Parton and
I know, dude.
He does have that on his arm.
Well,
That's where
I
the
need a new
inspiration-
Stoll piece. I need him to come back.
Yeah,
or I'll go to him. I don't care.
Yeah, if you guys are going to be up in Ohio, he will. If you give him access to be backstage, Mike, he will be backstage and he will tattoo.
Absolutely.
You guys and anybody in the GB.
Oh
crew.
yeah, I saw him at tailgate.
Tailgate and Tall Boys. He was up there just tattooing everybody. It was crazy.
I halfway thought about getting my first tattoo. that day.
Seriously though, if you guys
If you're gonna get your first tattoo, it needs to be Mike Stoll.
if you guys hit him up and let him know when you're going to be in Ohio or Michigan, he will be there because he's based up there now. So
absolutely.
Columbus is close for him, so I'm sure he'll come out for that show.
I know he just opened his shop, which I'm stoked for him on.
Yeah.
We were talking about it the other day. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's badass. Well,
Dude, thank you.
we
What an
love you,
honor.
bro.
What an
Dude,
honor to be a part of like the Raised Rowdy family. And I
Yeah.
feel like when I call it family, like I mean it. Like
Yeah.
this your I don't know, what do you call it? Organization?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're-
organization,
Y'all's-
family business.
Yeah, y'all the family business
Yes.
has been influential in a million ways, has deepened my relationships with all of, my favorite people in this town, and y'all have always been massive champions of us and what we do, so thank you.
Yeah,
That means
I
a
was,
lot.
Yeah, I was going to say before we end, we have to give a shout out to you and Nikki T, because y'all really have been a cornerstone for us, but also just young artists. Like that's and it's huge, So anybody that's doing this, like come to Raised Rowdy, come to the Outside the Round, meet them, shake their hands, because that's what it took. I remember meeting you.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I get on this? You're like, just keep coming.
Yeah.
I don't know, just keep coming.
Be
Yeah.
a part of the family.
Yeah.
That's what it's all
But
about.
yeah, y'all have been nothing but awesome. So thank y'all.
Appreciate that, boys.
Absolutely,
Like, appreciate you guys. So excited for more Highway Home songs to come out. Excited to see you boys on the road, and excited to think back to this and look forward to the day when I see you guys at a festival or at a big show, and you guys are dumping the trailer from the back of the bus, and you guys are all getting on your pit bikes and going and doing that while the local hands load everything in. It's coming for sure. But boys, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out. Y'all be sure to check out our boys from Highway Home. Trash Out the Trailer is out right now. More music coming very soon, and get your tickets. You can see the boys out on the road with Graham Barham going all over North America this fall. We're going to be out there at some of the shows for sure. We will definitely. I'm going to convene with Nikki T, and we're going to plan our road trips.
we would
to
love
get out
that.
there and see the boys.
We would love that.
Shout out to our friends from Surfside. We're going to send the boys home with some 8-packs. Surfside, fastest growing can cocktail in America. Y'all be sure, no bubbles, no troubles. It is, in fact, sunshine in a damn can. For more on us, visit raisedrowdy.com. And like I said, be sure to go check out Trash Out the Trailer from our boys in Highway Home. So, my boys, Stanton, Connor, and Eamon, Highway Home, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.